Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to think about a moment maybe where you felt this sort of unexpected pride. You know, like an athlete from your hometown wins a medal, or maybe a company nearby makes a big breakthrough. That feeling, that connection, even if you've never actually met the person.
Right, that vicarious thing.
Exactly. I was reading our source material for today's Structure, the Universal Thread, and the author, Dr. Israeli, tells this great story. He saw a famous singer on TV, someone from the kibbutz where he and his wife grew up.
Mm.
Yeah, and decades later, living totally somewhere else, they felt this incredibly strong, almost personal pride.
Even though everything had changed. The place, the people.
Completely. Different buildings, people moved on physically miles and years away, but that connection was still there. So it makes you wonder, right, what actually holds a group or an identity together when the physical stuff is gone?
Well, that feeling, that lasting connection beyond just being there, that's actually the perfect way into what we're exploring today. We're really going under the hood, so to speak. Looking at this idea that reality maybe doesn't start with solid objects or where things are located. Maybe it starts with patterns, relationships.
Structure.
Structure, exactly. That's the term the author uses. It's what makes that kibbutz feel coherent, or, what makes an economy actually work, or even what holds an atom together. So this deep dive is all about seeing that structure, things like shared values, trust, common history, norms. It's invisible, yeah, but it's just as crucial as the actual materials.
Like an invisible force field almost?
Kind of, yeah, as real and powerful as gravity in its own way.
So our mission today is to figure out why. Why structure seems to determine what something can do, how it holds together, how it lasts. We're going to track this idea through physics, biology, even human society.
And see if it leads to some kind of universal principle connecting it all.
Right. Let's start really basic then. The physical world. Look at your hand, knock on the table. It feels solid, right? Seems totally real, enduring.
Our senses scream solid.
But the source material just blows that up immediately. It says that feeling of solidity. It's pretty much an illusion.
It is. It's one of those mind-bending science facts, isn't it? I mean, everything solid is just molecules made of atoms. And atoms, they're defined by emptiness.
The stadium analogy.
Yeah, the classic one. If you blow out an atom to the size of a football stadium, the nucleus, the dense bit, it's like a marble on the 50-yard line.
Tiny.
And the electron, maybe a speck of dust way out near the bleachers.
Wow.
And everything in between. Just space. Basically nothing there.
Okay, but we hear that, and maybe it goes in one ear and out the other. Well, my hand doesn't go through the desk. Things stay together. Why don't atoms just, I don't know, fall apart or collapse in on themselves if they're mostly empty?
Because of the structure. See, matter holds together not because its bits are packed tight, but because of the incredibly precise, invisible forces, electromagnetism, the nuclear forces. These forces maintain that huge distance between the tiny nucleus and the electrons. The structure is this energetic pattern that holds incredibly powerful opposing forces in perfect balance.
Opposing forces.
Yeah, think about it. Electrons are negatively charged, they want to fly away from each other, and the nucleus has positive protons crammed together that should repel each other violently. There's constant tension.
But if the structure contains it.
It contains it, exactly. It doesn't get rid of the tension, it manages it, channels the energy, and keeps the whole thing coherent. That's the key.
Which leads to that absolutely staggering statistic in the source. You take every single atom and every single person on Earth.
Well, 8 billion of us.
And you magically squeeze out all that empty space.
Poof.
The entire human race fits inside a single sugar cube.
Let that sink in. A sugar cube.
It just completely flips how you think about what's real, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It makes you realize our physical existence is, well, it's an organizational marvel. It's why that quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson resonates so much, the one the source mentions.
Which one was that?
You're a ghost made real by structure, not substance.
Wow. A ghost made real by structure.
Oh.
Okay, so structure holds non-living matter together, keeps it from just dissipating.
Right. Against all odds, really.
But then what's the leap to life? If the basic building blocks, hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, all that are the same in a rock as they are in, say, you or me, what makes one alive and the other not?
That's the crucial jump into biology. And the answer, again, is structure. Life isn't defined by the ingredients because, yeah, those are everywhere. Life is defined by the incredibly complex way those ingredients are organized. It's all about the arrangement. Function comes from structure, not just the raw material.
So if you take a living cell and just grind it up,
you get a chemical soup. Yeah. It's dead. The parts are still there, but the life isn't.
because the organization's gone.
Precisely. Think about it. A single neuron pulled out of the brain doesn't think. A liver cell on its own in a petri dish doesn't detoxify your blood. Life, function, capability, it only emerges when all those specialized parts are arranged in a very specific structure, working together for a common purpose.
So when we talk about life, we're really talking about a certain kind of complex structure.
A structure that enables emergent capabilities, yes.
And it's fascinating. The source points out that even a single cell faces similar structural challenges to an atom, just scaled up, right?
Mm.
And it's to interact with its environment, but also maintain its own integrity.
That's a fundamental tension for any living system. Openness versus containment. How do you let nutrients in and waste out without losing your internal coherence?
Constant balancing act.
It is. And the cell's internal structure, the membrane, the nucleus, mitochondria, all those bits, they don't eliminate that tension. They manage it. They actually use that pressure to drive processes, to function.
And when that internal organization breaks down,
The cell dies. Instantly. Even if all the molecules are still physically present for a moment. The structure fails, the capability vanishes. That's the difference structure makes. It's the line between mere substance and actual life.
that makes so much sense. It's the ability to hold contradiction, to manage tension, and turn it into function. That seems to be the hallmark of a successful structure at any level.
Atomic, cellular.
Or social. Which, okay, brings us back to the start. Societies. How does this apply to us living in these huge, messy, global systems?
Right.
Because when we think about what holds a nation together, we often point to the visible things, don't we? Buildings, roads, armies, banks.
Physical infrastructure.
Yeah.
So how can something invisible like trust or shared rules be more fundamental than, the highway I drive on?
Well, that's the core insight, isn't it? We tend to mistake the container for the contents, or rather for the operating system. Yes, roads are useful, they facilitate things, but it's the invisible structure, the shared trust that other drivers will mostly follow the rules, the belief that currency has value, the expectation that contracts mean something that allows the road to function as part of a larger economic and social system.
Ah, okay. So the invisible structure enables the physical infrastructure to actually work properly.
Precisely. A society depends far less on its concrete and steel, and far more on its invisible framework. Shared laws, institutions, customs, mutual obligations, and absolutely trust. That invisible web is what connects millions of people who will never meet a farmer, a teacher, a software engineer, a judge, enabling them to function more or less as a single coordinated system.
It's like the shared software everyone's running, the expectations.
That's a good analogy.
So if a city got flattened by an earthquake, the society wouldn't necessarily disappear. People would use the existing software, the laws, the trust, the habits of cooperation to start rebuilding the physical stuff.
Exactly. But if you destroy the structure, if trust collapses, if the rule of law vanishes, if shared norms break down, then society falls apart, even if every building is still standing perfectly.
Right, even if the rows are still there.
Even then. And societies, just like atoms or cells, are full of internal tensions and contradictions. Think about class differences, political divides, arguments between generations.
Always there.
You can't eliminate them. The source argues that a strong, healthy social structure isn't one with no conflict. It's one that can manage that conflict, that can channel the pressure and disagreement into, ideally, progress and positive change.
Turning friction into forward motion.
If the structure is good enough, yes. So a society's real strength isn't just its territory size or its GDP number. It's the quality of its underlying structure, how well it organizes all its diverse, often conflicting parts into a reasonably shared direction.
Okay, this feels like it's building towards something bigger. We've seen this pattern in physics, biology, society. It feels like there's a common thread here.
There is. And this is where the source introduces what it calls the universal law of increasing complexity, or ULIC.
ULIC. Okay, what does that state?
Basically, it says this. When you have different specialized elements, and you hold them together within a structure, and that structure is capable of containing internal contradiction and directing energy effectively,
Then what happened?
the result is emergence. You get greater complexity, new functions, new capabilities that weren't there in the individual parts.
And greater complexity here doesn't just mean more complicated, right? It means more capable, more functional.
Exponentially more capable, potentially, yes. Capability comes from the quality of the structure, not just the sheer size or number of parts.
So a huge pile of bricks isn't as capable as a small, well-structured house.
Perfect example. Or think back. A tiny, highly structured atom can power a star for eons. A relatively small nation with strong, high-trust institutions and shared purpose can often outperform a much larger state that's riddled with corruption and internal division, a weak structure.
So structure is what turns potential into actual performance.
It really is, and it also dictates how the system handles stress, how resilient it is.
How it deals with shocks or internal conflict.
Exactly. A robust structure where trust is high, rules are fair and followed, purpose is somewhat aligned, can absorb big shocks. Think economic crises, natural disasters, pandemics. It can even integrate conflict, using the pressure to adapt and become stronger. But when that structure weakens, say trust erodes, institutions become corrupt, shared values fragment, then the system becomes brittle. Complexity unravels. Things fall apart.
So ultimately, the difference between prosperity and poverty, or between function and failure, isn't just resources, it's structure.
Fundamentally, yes. It's about how well things are organized, related, and aligned.
Okay, let's try to wrap this up. The big takeaway seems to be, wow, that structure, the pattern of relationships is what defines reality and capability, much more than just physical stuff.
That's the core idea. What feels real, what endures, what functions, it all comes down to the quality of the relationships holding it together.
And the source makes one final, really important distinction here. Structure isn't the same as design.
Crucial point, yes. Design is the blueprint, the plan, the written constitution, the schematic for a circuit board, the business plan. Humans create designs. Atoms, arguably, don't have a designer, but they have near-perfect structure.
So design is the intention. Structure is the actual functioning reality.
That's a great way to put it. Design is the map, structure is the territory it enables you to navigate. A lot of failures happen, the author suggests, because we fall in love with our designs, our blueprints.
Assume the map is the territory.
Exactly. We assume a brilliant plan guarantees a successful outcome, but the design only guides the initial setup. It's the structure, the living, breathing, dynamic pattern of trust, interaction, and managing tensions that determines if something will actually work, adapt, and endure over time.
So as we look at our own lives, our teams, communities, even our countries, the real question isn't just what are the assets or what's the plan,
The deeper question is how healthy is the underlying structure? How strong are the connections, the trust, the shared understanding? That's what determines future capability.
which brings us back full circle almost to that feeling of connection, that kibbutz pride.
Right. So if, someday you're trying to explain to someone, maybe your kids, why you feel connected to your community or your heritage or certain traditions, the answer isn't just, oh, it's memories or it's where I grew up. It's deeper. Those feelings stem from persistent organizing structures, patterns of shared values, mutual responsibility, earned trust that are still active, still shaping reality, still defining, in part, who you are.
Even across time and distance.
Especially across time and distance. That structural connection is real, and it's what makes potential possible. It's the universal thread.